Hello everyone, Captain Kirk here. So we are here to learn about each crew member of the Enterprise. So let's take an in-depth look at our beloved crew. Welcome to Starfleet Profiles. Hit that like and subscribe button, and then we will begin with Dr. Leonard McCoy. Dr. Leonard McCoy was born in Georgia, USA, Earth, in 2227. He was the son of David McCoy, who was attending the University of Mississippi during the mid-2240s when he met the joined Trill Emily Dax, who was visiting Earth to judge a gymnastics competition. According to Jadzia Dax, he had the hands of a surgeon. McCoy began studying medicine in or before 2245. While in medical school, McCoy and his friends used to play practical jokes on each other all the time. For example, they would substitute real drinking glasses with trick drinking glasses, causing the target drinker to spill on their shirt. In 2251, McCoy led a massive inoculation program on planet Dramia 2, where he saved a Draman colonist named Koltai from a strain of the Saurian virus. Shortly after McCoy departed, a plague struck Dramia 2, killing most of the colonists. In 2253, McCoy developed a surgical procedure for the humanoid brain. Grafting neural tissue to the cerebral cortex, followed by the creation of an axonal pathway between the tissue graft and the basal ganglia. In 2266, Lieutenant Commander McCoy was a Sciences Division officer. He was stationed on Capella Ore, where Capellan lack of interest in medical aid or hospitals ensured a short visit, lasting only a few months before eventually joining the USS Enterprise's 5-year mission. In 2266, McCoy was the Life Sciences Department head and the chief medical officer of the Enterprise. His assigned quarters were 3 F-127 on Deck 9, Section 2. His predecessor was Dr. Mark Piper. Kirk liberally used the nickname Bones for his doctor from this point on. During a 2267 away mission on Pyrus 7, Kirk made a special point to avoid calling McCoy Bones, instead using the nickname Doc, after finding themselves in shackles hanging alongside a skeleton. In 2270, following a delivery of medical supplies to Dramia, McCoy was arrested for the wanton mass murder of the colonists of Dramia 2, some 19 years earlier. McCoy feared that he might have accidentally been responsible for the plague that killed the Dramans, and they might find him guilty. Meanwhile, the Enterprise visited Dramia 2 and discovered a survivor named Koltai, who wished to help acquit McCoy of the charges. On the journey back to Dramia, they passed through an aurora, which was later discovered to be the source of the plague. Spock helped McCoy break out of the Dramian prison in order for the doctor to help find the cure for the plague that was now unleashed aboard the Enterprise. McCoy discovered the cure in Saurian virus antibodies and was able to save the crew. They honestly went crazy with gratitude to Org's Bones. I'd never seen anything like it. The problem with McCoy was his mood swings. He liked a joke, as long as the joke was not on him. He could not handle it. I would try and coax him down with Romulan ale. It never worked. McCoy frequently displayed a love/hate attitude towards technology. Although he was a great believer in the body's own natural ability to heal and felt that a little suffering was good for the soul, he also held 23rd century medicine in high esteem and frequently lamented how barbarous medicine was. In 1986, he angrily dismissed the medical technology of San Francisco's Mercy Hospital, state-of-the-art for the time, as medieval compared to what he knew. While technically only lieutenant commander in rank, McCoy was still the only person on the Enterprise besides Spock who could talk back to the captain and get away with it. Although not without apology when wrong, he displayed a unique individuality and plain-spoken character, which clashed often. That had to be inevitable in a mission. This pugnacious attitude served on a number of missions. Despite his sardonic wit and curmudgeonly personality, McCoy was very compassionate and cared deeply about all living things. This I can vouch for. Throughout our adventures, I could always rely on Bones to help me figure a solution. Fleet Admiral Nagura, using a little-known, seldom used, reserve activation clause at the request of now Admiral James T. Kirk, reactivated McCoy's commission. True to form, he refused to use the transporter until the other 5 crew members passed through safely. Though initially indignant about his reactivation, McCoy calmed down and served as chief medical officer during the Vega encounter, and afterward continued to serve with his shipmates in this capacity aboard the newly refitted Enterprise. In March 2285, McCoy was a participant in Savik's Kobayashi Maru scenario at Starfleet Training Command. After the scenario, he served aboard the Enterprise under the command of Captain Spock. He was the ship's chief medical officer for a 3-week training cruise. He was present in main engineering when Captain Spock arrived with the intention of entering the highly radioactive dilithium chamber to reactivate the ship's warp drive, so that Enterprise could escape Khan's suicidal ploy to kill them all with the Genesis device. McCoy objected, but Spock felled him with a Vulcan nerve pinch and, almost as an afterthought, deposited his Katra within McCoy's mind. Following their escape and Spock's death, McCoy grieved with Kirk and the rest of the crew, as Spock was laid to rest on the newly formed Genesis planet. On their return to Earth, as the rest of the crew found that Enterprise was to be decommissioned, McCoy began to suffer increasingly erratic behavior, making odd requests of Kirk to return to Vulcan and even sounding like Spock at times. Although at first it was thought he was only under too much stress, McCoy soon found himself placed under protective custody after making several inquiries into securing transportation to the newly restricted Genesis planet. I remember this well. It was like Spock was in there. We could feel it. On Stardate 41001 and 71 years after the decommissioning of the Enterprise A, the 137-year-old Admiral Leonard McCoy inspected the medical layout of the USS Enterprise D during its first mission, still refusing to use the transporter. He was ferried to the ship by shuttlecraft before he was escorted to the USS Hood by Lieutenant Commander Data. He commented on the great significance of the ship's name to Data, telling him, "Treat her like a lady, and she will always return you home." Famous McCoy family recipe for southern baked beans dated back several generations. McCoy prepared a batch for Kirk and Spock during their camping trip in 2287. Now, on a personal level, Dr. McCoy cured more than the common cold for me in my career on board the Enterprise. We were sentenced together, and we were framed by the treacherous Klingons. Thankfully, Spock and the crew of the Enterprise helped us prove the truth, but I could not have done it without the help of my very good friend, Dr. Leonard McCoy, a highly respected and valued member of Starfleet. I often enjoyed seeing him speak his mind to Spock. Me being captain, I had to show respect, whereas Bones could say the things I was thinking myself. This has been Starfleet Crew Profiles. I have been Captain James T. Kirk. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe button. This is a command, not a request. It is always appreciated. Thank you. Live long and prosper.